Welcome. My name is Andrew, and this is the Who Dat Discussion, a New Orleans Saints podcast where we talk about all Saints news, opinions, and reactions. So before we get into a preview of Saints and Redskins and talk about some Saints news, I just want to say, if you haven't followed us already, you can follow us on Twitter at the Who Dat Dis, on Instagram at Who Dat Discussion, and then please subscribe to our YouTube, Google Play, and iTunes channels. On there, please leave comments, leave reviews, leave ratings. That's just really helpful for me to see what we're doing good and what we need to do better. But I feel like right now we're growing at a good pace, and I just like to see it. Like to see a lot of Who Dats in the comments. Like to see a lot of Who Dats on my Twitter feed and stuff like that. It's all good to connect with Who Dat Nations, and that's what I really want to do when I started this podcast. I know I say it a lot, but I feel like the goal, we're achieving that goal little by little here. But I think we should just go right into some Saints news. There's been a lot of Saints news because this is a big week, so we'll just get right into it. So first up, the Saints, they signed two cornerbacks this week. First, they signed cornerback Demetri Goodson and Josh Robinson. So between these three guys, first with Goodson, he's played 3 years with Green Bay. He went to college at Baylor. In those 3 years, he's made 30 tackles. Just looking at it, he doesn't have any sacks, no picks. He does have a couple of pass defense, but he's just a depth piece. I feel like they needed to sign a cornerback after Robinson landed on IR, but I really feel like he could be a good depth piece, and I think he can help this team maybe on special teams and stuff like that if he stays long term. Also, Josh Robinson, he's played much longer than the league. He has played 6 years, and he started 21 games really in the beginning of his career. Hasn't started a game the last 3 years. He played for the Bucs last year, and he was kind of that special teams depth piece like he was. We got two depth cornerbacks. See what we can do here. In his career, he does have 5 picks. He's made 175 tackles almost. So he's definitely a veteran player that I think could help this team, especially maybe progressing a little more, making it easier for players, maybe helping Lattimore grow, Crawley grow, PJ Williams grow. So I feel like he could do a really good job at that. He's also played in our division, played with the Bucs, so he knows their system. He definitely knows also the Falcons and Panthers, played those teams both twice, so he's not familiar with the NFC South. That's really good. And he's really the same with Goodson. I say keep the best one, see what happens there. He's definitely the veteran player compared to Goodson, who's more of a younger player. But we'll see how both of them play. Practice. They probably won't get that much game time. Going to be special teams guys probably, and we'll see what happens there. And obviously, the second big piece of Saints news we covered a little last episode, but just a big thing that Mark Ingram is back from a 4-game suspension. So this is really big for the Saints. I won't discount it. Ingram, we need him now. Coming into the season, I thought, we can probably do without him. We really can't. I feel like Alvin Kamara, great player, amazing, and he's done a really good job. Don't say Kamara's done. He's been actually an MVP candidate, but be able to run the ball through the tackles. Kamara doesn't do that best. Ingram does that amazing, and I think Ingram's gonna strive at that when coming back. He can run with heavy boxes, 7, 8 guys in the box. He can do that, and also he can help the load with Alvin Kamara. He's gonna take a lot off of that. If he gets 15 to 20 carries, which I think he will probably get here, it's gonna be very good for just the whole offense. He's gonna make this offense more two-dimensional. He's gonna make the whole team, I feel like, two-dimensional, because you're looking at the running ball. If you run the ball, we're taking long drives, keeping the ball away from the other offense and our defense, which is not the best defense in the world, as we know. But really looking at it, I feel like Ingram could do just a ton for this team. Also, the way his leadership is, just he can pump everyone up in the room, makes everyone feel happy, and I think you kind of need that in a team. Also, just Alvin Kamara, even when they do the dual interviews, I think they're just better together. They're better together than apart. I think it's both of their, games are going to get better here, and I really feel like everyone thinks, Alvin Kamara will get a little worse. People outside of New Orleans think that. I just don't think so. I think he's actually become more efficient, better, and I think he's going to be really good, especially at the passing game, just as much. I don't think Ingram will take away from there, and he'll take away some carries, but I don't think that's going to be such a big deal. I think that moves Kamara back out to having those last year he had like a 5.9 yards per carry. He could have that again. He could be very good there, because now he's not going to be running the inside runs, which Ingram really did. He gets to run the outside zone, which he loves running that, and I think that's really good with our offensive line. That's really big with Ingram as well, and I feel like Ingram could also be kind of with. I don't think Brees trusted the other running backs when especially giving them check down throws, and I really just looking at it, I feel like Ingram he's a good safety blanket. Brees definitely trusts him to catch the ball, get some yards, turn it upfield, be really good. He could also help the screen game. I feel just wasn't as good in the last couple weeks before this past week against the Giants. I feel like he can help, especially when we have both running backs, both of them running screens. Brees can pick the best one, or the one that I think giving Ingram, I think, in the backfield with Kamara gives Sean Payton so much extra possess. And now look, when they're going to bring Taysom Hill in now, think of the two now to me read option with Ingram, Kamara, and Taysom Hill. I don't think defenses can really look who's going to get the ball. They're all really good runners. And I don't think in that package, we're going to be really, really good in that package, especially sports short yardage we needed, red zone. It's going to be deadly. It's going to be really, really big. So, I feel like just the depth, Ingram brings obviously really, really, big. We touched on that. I feel like he could check down option, and, the way he, runs with Kamara, the way they beat together, I think that's where Ingram's really successful, and that's where he's going to help us. And he's going to make our team much better. You think one guy can do it, all that stuff. It's not that much, but it could change games, especially games. I see we're going to have less shootouts, I bet. Less shootouts because Ingram's going to be in there, and more games like last year once Ingram comes back. That's going to be really, really big, and I think that's what we're going to do here. But now with all that said, I think it's time to get into a Saints Redskins preview. So, first, we'll do our notes, we'll do our storylines, and then we'll go right into the group-by-group preview. So first, looking at some notes, just looking at the game as a whole, the Saints do have a 62% chance to win on ESPN Matchup Center, and then also the Saints have, they're supposed to win by 6.5 points. That's how much we're supposed to win by there. That's what the betting odds are. We're minus 6.5 there. And so, the over-under is 53, so it looks like it can be a high-scoring game. They think, looking at it, it's going to probably be one of those Monday night games where Brees is going to steal the show. It's Brees' record. This is going to be really, really big here. I can see the running being really big, just because Ingram's coming back, that could maybe steal the show. But just looking at the notes, looking at, injury report for us, nothing really going on that much. Ted Ginn did not practice on Wednesday. We don't know with Thursday before, the injury report hasn't come out when I've recorded this. But, he's the only one that didn't practice. A lot of people were limited practice. So I think we're just looking up. I think a lot of people are getting better. Manti Te'o should be able to play this game. So that's obviously really, really big for us as well. And, to see what happens here, basically the Redskins, they look like they'll be without Josh Doxson. But besides that, they look like they'll be at full strength. Trent Williams looks like he will be getting the nod and starting as their left tackle. And he's a very, very good left tackle. So that could be the difference maker, of a game. We see that, with our left tackle being very, very good. But just looking at it, I feel like, also other notes, it's like Drew Brees, obviously, going for the record. He's 201 yards away. It's going to be really big. We'll get onto that a little later. But, he's going for that record. That's a big note. Mark Ingram, we talked about a little earlier, coming back from the suspension. That's going to be a really big note as well. And then also just looking at some, Saints with Alex Smith versus Drew Brees games. Looking at that, they've had some thrillers here, especially the one in 2011, that was the big one. And then, they go back and forth a lot when he was on the 49ers. So let's see if they can, revitalize that rivalry and, maybe have a really good game. I feel like, Alex Smith always is pretty good against us, but now I think, hopefully we can channel him back, stop him, and, get, a win here. That'd be really, really big. But onto the storylines. And first, is Brees. He's going for the record, for the passing yards record of all time. So just to look a little on that record, just to see, where Brees stands and the implications of it. So, Brees is trailing both Favre and Peyton Manning. He's trailing both, but, he's only now 138 yards away from Favre and now 201 yards away from Peyton Manning. So, he's in third right now, but, he's, on pace to break that this game. Looking if he's going to get the 200 yards, he's actually, had over 201 yards, which he needs 69 to 71 times, so that's, and just look at that. That's amazing. This, segment's going to be a lot of, the Drew Brees appreciation, just to look at that. What he has done is remarkable. No other quarterback's going to do it again, I don't think. And just, I think we're undervaluing him. I think the league undervalues him. Just the way that, number one, he has very high completion percentage. The most yards ever. Brady, he's about 4,000 yards behind him. He's about a whole season behind Brees, and, they played about the same amount of time as well. Looking at the other active players in the top 10, Eli Manning, he is 6th on this list and Brees is 3rd. So that's the only couple players. Eli is about 20,000 yards away from Brees. Just looking at that, Brees is above and beyond everyone but Brady, and he's still basically a full season above Brady in the passing yards. And passing touchdowns, they're right neck and neck. Brees has, the all-time completion percentage record. It's not like Brees just does checkdowns. He throws the ball down the field, he's throwing down the ball the field his whole career, he's just, it's remarkable. Has a Super Bowl, he has been great in playoffs. People say he doesn't have the great playoffs record. Well, that's, because, his defense has been subpar in the playoffs. You put a really good team, a good defense, around him with his amazing offense. He's, they've been done really good in the playoffs. They always win playoff games when they got that. They usually win. We've only been one and done once in the playoffs. That's also really good under the Sean Payton, Drew Brees era. Also looking at, we've never been below 4th in the Drew Brees, Sean Payton era as well in total offense. That's obviously extremely remarkable. So I think Brees, he should be around that conversation for, one of the best ever. Now, look, I don't think he's going to be in that conversation unless he wins another championship, just because he's going to need it. Now, if he has multiple rings Now he has all the records. Then he actually has, he's better than Peyton. Then he beat Peyton in the Super Bowl. And then it's really Brady, which, if he also has better than Brady besides Super Bowls, you could make an argument. Obviously, people may not agree with you, but you could definitely make an argument there. But this is just going to be a magnificent night. I will be there, and I just can't wait to be there for that game. First game in the Dome is going to be a very historic one. I just can't wait to soak it all in. Be there for, a very historic night is going to be very, very fun there. Also, another storyline is Ingram's return. We talked about it a lot, but I'll just talk about it a little bit more. It will affect the offense big time. I could have it's not maybe the big passing day, but actually the big running game, and actually having a win through there, slowing down Washington, especially with keeping our defense on the field. I think that's what Sean Payton's going to try to do. I think Sean Payton's also going to try to be exotic like he was against the Giants. I don't think he'll stop that, especially with Ingram. It's just another weapon. I feel like we were one weapon away coming into this game, and this whole season, I feel like we're just one weapon away. I feel like we added a weapon because Ingram was, out. I think we're just one weapon away. Ingram's going to bring that, and I think we're going to be really big over there. Ingram also, he is going for, the rushing, all-time Saints rushing record. He's about 700-800 yards away from that. So he's going to have he's going to have to be very, very good to get that record, 12 games, and then he's a free agent. I would bring him back, but, I don't know what the Saints will do there on that front. Also, in the storyline, can the defense, repeat last week's performance? And that's going to be the biggest part of this game. I don't think, the Saints, maybe they will, be able to put up 40-plus points, but against that secondary, which is really, really good, we'll get on that later. And, they also have a really, really good linebacking core. They have a good defense, so, you got to be able to stop, their offense, give us the most chances as possible, and really, have a really good game. I feel like it's going to be one of those games that we've always had them when Brees puts up wins the records in the Dome. I feel like, we're going to score a lot of points, and, we'll pull away late. That's usually what we do in those games there. But I feel like just looking at the defense, pass rush has been better, good against the Giants game. The run defense has been outstanding. We're the best team against the run, yards per carry. Just looking at it from Davenport to Cam Jordan to, Sheldon Rankins, who having the best season of his career, and then also DeMario Davis has just been outstanding. He won Defensive Player of the Week this week, which is, congrats to him, very, very good honor. But, just doing that, I feel like he's the key, I think, to this run defense, and he's been really, really good there. Secondary, I think it's getting better. I think week by week getting a little better. Lattimore looks amazing. I think he's back to what he was last year. I don't think, we're going to see a problem there. I think maybe we could see a little, digression from last week for Crawley and, PJ Williams, but I think they're getting better as well. Just every week get a little better. We'll see. Maybe it was just, a couple week and getting out of their funk, which, they did last year. Communication got better. Communication was great last week. Just do not let the plays over the top. If we don't let the plays over the top, it's going to be good news for us. And I think that could be really, really good because if, even if they're going to have really long drives, I just feel like that's just not going to be able to do it, because, especially if they're going to be playing catch up and we're going to be scoring a lot, we have the high octane offense, if they're going to be playing catch up the whole game, I just don't see that, they will be able to have those long, big drives because you saw against the Giants, they couldn't sustain it. And I don't think the Redskins good either. I think they're very similar offenses. They're a little different because the Giants have all the weapons, but their offensive line's really bad. The Redskins are kind of the opposite. But, and also you got to look at it in their offense. AP's there, and AP's been great. So you got to give it to him. Chris Thompson's really good. Jameson Crowder, we'll get on that a little later. But, I think this team, we can't look, past them. They're a good team. They're 2-2. So I feel like looking at it, I feel like it's going to be a very big game there. And the defense, they got to step up again. I think now it's getting to that point. I think last week's win was a lot like, we had a lot of wins like that last year. Now it's just going to keep that going, keep the momentum going. I think that's going to be really, really big. So now on to the Saints, group by group preview. We'll do, preview both who's we think is going to project to be better. And then at the end, we'll do a score. So first, quarterback, Saints have Brees, and now I'm going to put Taysom Hill in there because, he's playing a couple of snaps at quarterback a game just with RPO against Alex Smith. You got to take Brees and Hill here. Brees is much better. If you're going to put one game, Brees is. It doesn't matter about how, good their secondary is compared to how, bad ours is. Brees is, leaps and droves ahead of Alex Smith. And Alex Smith's not a bad QB, average to above average. But I think Brees is top in the game. He's playing like top 3. And, I feel like to beat them, he's going to have to, Alex Smith's going to have one of those legendary games that he has sometimes. But, I feel like he's definitely just not with Brees right now. I think that's really what it is there. There's not really much to go in on that because, I don't think anyone's going to say that, Alex Smith's better than Drew Brees. So I think that's that there. Off the skill position players, now this is going to be, I think the Saints win this category. I mean, we have, Kamara, now we have Ingram, Michael Thomas, looking at, Cameron Meredith, Ted Ginn, Ben Watson, and much more. We have a lot of weapons there. Their weapons, they got, they have Josh Doxson, who will be out, so that's going to be obviously really, really big for us. They have Jamison Crowder, Paul Richardson, looks like Michael Floyd will get some, snaps there. I mean, they have Vernon Davis, Jordan Reed, that's really big there, and then obviously their running backs with Chris Thompson and Adrian Peterson, that's going to be really big. I'm going to go Saints here, just because the Saints, I feel like, just looking at it, we got the more firepower there. I mean, they have a couple of nice weapons, especially out the good APs playing. But I just don't think he'll be able to keep that up with his age. And really, no one else really jumps off the page. Jordan Reed's good. I mean, Vernon Davis usually does good against us. But, besides that, they don't really have one weapon that just jumps off the page. And I think we'll be able to stop them, especially with, we're having trouble with a lot of big skill position players. They don't really have that, so I think we'll be, very, very good there. We've been great against the run, so I don't think Peterson will be that much of a problem. I think we just got to stop Alex Smith, and that's going to be key. So we're going to have to do it there. But I'm going to give us, I'll give it to us. I mean, I feel like quarterback skill position players, I think we have it on them there. Offensive line, I will also give it to us because we've been ranked, 2, 1, depending what metrics you go by, ranked top in the league. I think that's really it. Just going from position by position, Ramczyk has been really good. We haven't really heard his name that much, so that's really good. That means he's not given up a lot of sacks, no penalties really. I mean, Teron Armstead has actually been rated the best, offensive lineman in the whole league. To do that, that's extremely impressive. The best out of the whole league. We knew he had this potential, and he's really showing it. The guards, Andrews Pete played really good last week, but even Josh Lubis, he's been very, very good too. Max Unger has been good as well. He left a couple of pressures up the middle, but I think he's good there. I mean, he's just the rock there at center. Does a really good job of communicating with Brees. And then also Larry Walford, I think he had a false start last week. Besides that, he's been very, very good too. I mean, looking at it, he's a Pro Bowler. I mean, our 5 offensive linemen are just outstanding. And look, they don't have a bad offensive line. They have Trent Williams, Sean Lavaro, you'll get Chase Rollier, Brandon Sheriff, Morgan Moses, excuse me. That's not bad, but I mean, they're just nowhere near our offensive line. They're probably above average, but they're just not top of the line here. I think they're about an average team. I think that's what you're saying. They're gonna have some really good weeks, maybe not some not so good weeks, but I feel like that's where they are there. Now on to the defense. I mean, just looking at defensive line, I mean, this is a very, very tough. I mean, looking at our defensive line, we have Cam Jordan, David Onyemata, Sheldon Rankins. You're looking at, Davidson, Marcus Davenport, Alex Okafor. They've looked good, especially in the run defense. They've looked amazing. Pass defense, I think we're getting there. I mean, but they have a really good defensive line too. They've gotten actually a lot of pressure. Deron Payne's been really good. Ryan Kerrigan, always a very, very solid pass rusher, and just linebacker in general. Jonathan Allen, I feel like you're looking at that. I mean, it's very, very big there. They've gotten a lot of sacks. I mean, we really only had 1 player, 2 players, really. We really had Rankins and Cam Jordan get sacks. Also, Davenport has a sack. We also have some linebacker pressure. But, for them, they've had a lot of really, really nice pieces. Maybe not get 1,000,000 sacks, like 4 sacks, but they have a lot of guys that get 2 sacks, and that can cause us a little trouble because not one guy is amazing, but, they're all, they could all win one-on-ones from time to time. That could be really, really big for them. I mean, just looking at it, I think just the edge, I think it's kind of like a push, but I'm going to give the edge to the Saints because the way they've been playing more of a hot defense, but I feel like, the run game, I mean, the Redskins give it a lot to their linebackers. They have really good linebackers for the run game, and I think our defensive line does a lot of good stuff in the running game. Davenport last week against Nate Solder, oh my, he just completely beat him off and, tackled Saquon in space, which not a lot of people were able to do, and he was able to do it. That's outstanding. That's what you want to see. Those flashes from Davenport. Sheldon Rankin's having his best season. That's obviously really, really big. David Onyemata's been so-so. I mean, better the last couple games, big penalties, in the first couple games. Now, not as many. That was really good for him. Tyler Davidson playing really good. And give it off to Taylor Stallworth, who's played very, very good, when Tyler Davidson was out. Even when Tyler Davidson's in, he comes in his package and plays really good. That's really big there. So I'm going to give us the little edge, but not a big edge. So now on to linebackers, and I feel like, look at the linebackers, especially for the Redskins, they have some great linebackers. They have Zach Brown, who's really good, Mason Foster, Preston Smith, I mean, Ryan Kerrigan, who we spoke about a little earlier because he's more of a rusher, but this linebacking core is one of the best in the league, and the way they've been able to stop the run, because they've been really good run stoppers as well. I think, our linebackers right now are playing extremely hot, and they're playing really good right now, but just pure talent, you got to go. It's Redskins right now, I mean, but, the Saints are playing really hot. It wouldn't surprise me if they played better. It's very, very close as well. The way Demario Davis has been playing, the way Alex Anzalone has been playing, he's playing really good as well. And then also looking at AJ Klein, who's been, everyone was, trashing him. He's been very, very good too in the last 3 games. Got to give it to him on that. They've been very, very good there. But, I mean, just because of talent, they have a lot of names on that linebacking core. definitely, a lot of Pro Bowl stuff like that. So it give them a, slight edge because we're playing really hot. They're playing really good too, but, the way, looking at Davis and looking at, Anzalone, they've played really, really good. So I feel like give the Redskins a slight edge, but not a huge edge there. Then on to the secondary, this is just a clear edge for the Redskins. Looking at Swearinger, who's been really, really good. Looking at him, looking at Quinton Dunbar, really good. Josh Norman, obviously, Josh Norman's been amazing there. They have Monte Nicholson. These players, they're just, they have a good secondary. Not many people throw them. Rodgers couldn't really throw on them. They stopped Rodgers to only 17 points, and, they beat Rodgers, so they played really good against him there. So they've been able to stop a lot of QBs here. They're 2-1. I think earlier I said they were 2-2. No, they're actually 2-1. They had a bye last week, and I feel like they're going to come rested too, especially that secondary. They're coming hungry. They do not want Brees to have this record, so they're going to be coming hungry. They're probably going to take chances. I think we'll be able to burn them on that, so that's going to be really big there. And I think we'll be able to wear them down through the run, and then later through the play action pass. I think that's going to be really big as well. But just looking at it, I feel like they have a great secondary, and even though I feel like Lattimore is probably one of the better secondary players out of everyone that's playing in the game. But just looking at it, he's probably tied with Josh Norman for one. But, everyone else, they're just not there. Marcus Williams for us has been, very, very good this year. Not amazing, but good. He had a pick, very, very big there. But looking at it, I feel like, they just beat us there. You can't make, between like Von Bell and, DJ Swearinger, you can't compare them really. Von Bell's played really good, but he's not at Swearinger's level. Swearinger played really good against Brees. He picked off Brees twice last year. Not many players do that. So I think that's really big there. But, their secondary, it's their best, it's probably strongest unit out of their whole team. So, they got us on that one. Now, special teams and coaching for our last, group. And, I think we have probably the clear advantage in both. I'll give it to us. Special team, Will Lutz has just been outstanding. He's won special teams player of the month. That's obviously really, really big there. Their kicker, Dustin Hopkins, we actually cut Dustin Hopkins, before. Tress Way is their punter. Really not that really great kicker punter. Our kicker punter is much better. We have some special teams aces. Taysom Hill, obviously, the jack of all trades. I say it every week. And then also looking at Justin Hardy, they've been obviously extremely, vital for the special teams. I'm also coaching Sean Payton, completely out-coached, Pat Shurmur last week, and I think he's going to do it again against, Gruden there. I feel like he just, the way he can, kind of manipulate the game, the way he, puts his players in the right position, even, my Giants fans were raving how good Sean Payton was. So I think, he's just an amazing coach, a top 5 coach, and I think he's going to put a good game plan together and, get our guys to play, and then we'll outplay them there. So, just looking at the final score, I'm going to go and I'm going to say it's going to probably be around 31-17, probably somewhere in that range, 35-21, something like that. I think we're going to be a very close game until late, and I really hope that turns out to be the case because I'll be there. So I feel like, even though, it could get really close, I think that, with Brees getting the record, it's going to pump up the crowd, and, we're going to run away with this game. That's how I just feel it's going to go. So now on to our Who Dat Nation fan questions. So this week we have 2 questions, and we'll just get right into it. So our first question is from Who Dat Fan 94123, and he said, this team's coming together very, very well, but where can it improve even more? So I feel like this is where it can improve. I'll just put one offense, one defense. First on the offense, red zone, especially after last week, they still have, they have a lot to prove there. I think they can do it. And it's, we're going to see if that's going to be the case for the whole year or just that was a lucky game for the Giants. Played good in the red zone. But, I think we'll see the team's true identity down there. I don't think it'll be a problem, but, it's something they have to prove to me. I think they'll have to prove to a lot of Saints fans because last week was not acceptable. 2 for 6 in the red zone is not good. We should be 4 for 6, 5 for 6 for getting TDs, and then we would have completely blown out the Giants. So I think that's really, really big there. But, we got to see it from the offense. Also, are we going to be able to run the ball? I think we'll be able to run the ball, very consistently. I think that's obviously a big thing. With Ingram coming back, I think we'll be able to do that. I think those are the 2 big, improvements for the offense. And then really for the defense, it's going to be the secondary. I'm fine with how the other 2 groups are playing, but the secondary is not playing good. They played good last week, but let's see if they can do it 2 weeks in a row. I think we're going to see if they're going to be able to stop Alex Smith, have a really good game, stop him under 21 points. That to me, that's the mark for this team. If they can stop him over 21 points, we're going to get a ton of wins this year. And if they can do that, that's going to be really very important. And I think they'll be able to do that. So I think that's obviously. Maybe they won't be able to do that, but I think they're going to have a good shot at it. I say 31-17. I think it's going to be very, very close, but I think they'll be able to do it. I think they're going to play the zone again, simplify it, and I think it will work in the long run there. So I feel like that's, really for that question. I feel like, we've been good though. 3-1 is good. You got to take 3-1 when you can get it. If we go 3-1, for every quarter of the season, that's 12-4. So that's a very good record. Definitely take that. And then our next question and final question is from Domegoer9, and he asked, do you think Ingram will get the full amount of snaps, that he always got, before the suspension? And I think, yeah, give him the 15 to 20 carries. He should get that, Hopefully he'll be able to set the tone early and close out the game late. I think that's what he'll be used for, and I think it's going to be really big. I mean, I think you get him in there early, sprinkle him with Kamara, show that both are really good. Again, that boom and zoom mentality is back, and I think will be really, really good. I think also in the red zone, Ingram's really that red zone back. I think he's really good down there. So is Kamara, but I feel like Ingram's extra special down there. He's really good at breaking tackles. He picks a hole and goes through it, and then at the 2-yard line, that's really big. So, pick a quick hole and go through it. That's how you're going to get touchdowns there. So that's obviously very, very big there. But I feel like I do not limit him at all. He's been practicing. He said he's ready to go. He looks ready to go. He looks eager. Give him a full, slate to go. And I really hope he's full slate to go because I have him starting in my running back 2 position for fantasy football. I have actually him and Kamara, so that will be fun there. Really, I can't wait for them both to play together. People think that Kamara's going to be worth. I just don't see it. So I feel like that's kind of a little tangent on there, but I feel like that's what it's really going to be there. So, with all that said, I think it's time to wrap up this podcast. So if you enjoy this podcast and you haven't already, please follow us on Twitter at the Who Dat Dis, on Instagram at Who Dat Discussion, and then please, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes channels, please do that. On there, as I said before, comment. Also, you can write reviews, rate us, which is really helpful to see where we are, as a podcast, what we're doing good, what we need to get better at. It's just really, really helpful for us, and I just love, all the comments, everything that, we've wanted out of this podcast. I think we've gotten, we've been able to connect to a ton of Who Dats, and I think you just want to see that, the Who Dat Nathan's been very kind to me as well. We're growing really good, getting a lot of good feedback, so I think that's all positive stuff there. But as I said before, I will be at the game on Monday night. I think, it'll be a really fun experience, first game in the Superdome, so we'll see how that goes. Should be a fun game, but I feel like just in that game, I feel like we have another really good shot to win this game. And then after that, we go to our bye, rest up, and then our really tough schedule comes up. That I said, after the Bucs game, I said if we could run off the 4 games in a row, from after the Bucs game to the bye, that was obviously going to be really, really big. And, we're 3 steps of the way there, 1 more to go. We're 3/4 of the way. And I think that'd be really big. And then after, the bye, we have the Ravens, which, Brees doesn't really play the best. He's the only team he hasn't beaten in his career, so that's obviously another big thing for him. But, I really feel like this week, I think we're kind of, if Brees breaks the record, I think we're going to have a good chance at winning. And if they'll be able to stop him to less than 200 yards, that's obviously huge for them. But I feel like Brees is going to be able to, they're going to probably just throw him often, get the record out of the way, and then late really run the ball, run the Redskins into submission and get a win here. Hopefully, like the Giants game, that we're really controlled most of the game. So with all that said, I wanted to say prove him right. Thank you, and Who Dat?